Welcome.
Greetings. This is Alicia Minto coming in from South Carolina.
Hey, what's going on? This is Chris K from New Jersey.
And this is your girl, Tashin Poole, coming in from South Carolina.
We are bringing you real money talk.
From real people.
On a real journey to real financial freedom.
We are called to break down global economic concepts and ideas.
To help you grasp the realities of what's happening around you and how it impacts your livelihood.
So hear the red pill revelation from our perspective as thinkers as we navigate through this twilight zone and what we can do in the now to protect ourselves.
We are the real money entourage.
We are the real money entourage.
We are the real money entourage.
And we are, guys. Welcome to the show. We coming to you back to back. We brought it to you last night. If you have not had an opportunity to go check out that episode, you can check it out here. At the Real Money Entourage or Red Pill Revelation YouTube channel. We're still getting that together, but welcome, guys, and thanks for jumping on. So yesterday or last night, we kind of let you know that we were going through the Hidden Secrets of Money series, which we recommend that all of you take a look at from start to finish. It's 10 episodes. But last night we talked about episode 4, which goes into, it's called the biggest scam in history, right? So we covered the first half, and Alicia and Chris and myself kind of gave you a breakdown of how money is created. That's really what it's about, is money creation. So we're going to give you the other half of that. And this you really want to pay attention to because it's really kind of disturbing once you put it all together. But we, of course, have a solution. We're not just bringing you problems. We have a solution. So I am going to stop with that. Before we turn it over, I am going to give you just a quick 1-minute video. It's about fractional lending, which is what we'll talk about today. And I do just want to point out a couple of things. Governments have a role to play. Treasury have a role to play. And then the banking system. That is a optional thing that we choose to participate in. So I just want to let you know that. I also want to let you know that bonds equal debt. So if you hear us mentioning bonds, debt is interchangeable with bonds. And like I said, we did cover this last night, so you can go back and check that out. With that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can take a look at this quick video. And just give it a minute here.
Banks are allowed to create money through a system called fractional reserve banking. Whenever you deposit money, the bank is legally required to keep a certain percentage of it somewhere safe, but can lend everything else. Here's an example based on a 10% reserve requirement. John goes to his bank and deposits $1,000. John's bank keeps $100 and lends the remaining $900 to Mike. There is now $1,900 in the financial system. John's $1,000 deposit and Mike's $900 loan. Next, Mike uses the $900 to buy a laptop from Karen. Then Karen deposits her $900 at another bank. The bank keeps 10% and lends the remaining $810 to George. There is now $2,710 in the system. John's $1,000 deposit, Karen's $900 deposit, and George's $810 loan. This goes on and on until John's initial $1,000 is turned into approximately $10,000. Believe it or not, commercial banks actually create more money than central banks. Banks are allowed to create money through a...
Alicia, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Wow. Well, that's very interesting. So just to break it down even further, because I don't know too many of my people who are walking in the bank with like bags of money, right? So so let's just break it down. So say you go in with $10, right? You deposit your $10 in the bank. The bank has the right to take 9 of those dollars and leave you with 1. Okay. Of those $9, because Tashin needed a loan, they're going to now give her my $9. She's going to keep 10% in the bank, and they're going to take 90% of her loan and give it to Chris because Chris needs a loan. So they are just creating money out of nothing, or creating more dollars out of nothing, if you will. And what's even more interesting, and that was based on a 10% reserve. So last month, just March 26th, and I will say it's probably due to the pandemic, the current pandemic, the Federal Reserve issued an update on some of their happenings, their doings, right? And at the very, very bottom, they talk about reserve requirements. So effective March 26th, there is a zero reserve requirement, meaning when I deposit my $10 and I think it's safe in the bank, they literally have the right to take it all. So let's not say it's $10, let's say it's 10,000, let's say it's 100,000. You think that your money is safe in that account, and it is not. So that's fractional reserve banking for you, okay? So let's get, yes, Tashin, do you have something to add?
I do. So we're gonna break it down a little bit more. I mean, it should throw you, just that little 1-minute video right there. They just showed us how $1,000 became how much money? Like $10,000 because they keep recycling it. And guess what? It wasn't your money. It was, I mean, it's your money to start. But it actually, Alicia, ties into Chris's scenario yesterday, right? He was buying a car. So let's put it into perspective to finish that wheel. So we talked yesterday about the government creating these glorified debt funds, or whatever you want to call them, but know that they are interchangeable when we speak. And then they give them to the Treasury for once they do the bonds, they give it to the Treasury for approval, or Treasury is now approving to sell the bonds or have the auction, which we covered yesterday.
That equates to your credit being auctioned off to a bank for you to get that loan.
So that was like Chris's car, right? He was getting a car loan, and the Treasury was his finance office, okay? And then they determined that this is going to be who his creditor is. So we got all the way to the point where he got his car now, right? He's rolling off, and now he's going to work for them dollars.
That's right.
And that was like number 3. He goes and works for the dollars, and then we go into fractional lending. So what does that look like for him if he is working for those dollars and then he deposits his money into the bank? I'm gonna turn it back over.
Just like that video. Just like that video. He is working hard for his money. He is putting it into his bank because he feels that that's a very secure and safe place for his dollars to sit and not grow, clearly, and not even really to sit there, because they're not. And so, right, you're working, you're putting your money in the bank, and this is when fractional reserve lending happens. This is where a portion of your deposit is truly being stolen. And unless you're aware of that, then you're, it's fair game. Like if you're aware of fractional reserve banking, then I guess you're okay with it. But if you're not, then this is something you need to know. So know that that's happening. After that happens, because that's what the banks do, they multiply their numbers by reserve lending. Now we're talking about your money is being taxed, or your dollars being taxed, okay? And for the banking system, this is you paying taxes, the IRS then sending that to the Treasury having to pay interest and the principal on checks or IOUs, or on the debt received from the Fed, which really never had any money or any dollars dished out. So this is where we are. We're going into this cycle of money is created, dollars are created, excuse me, we're not talking real money, we're talking dollars, currency. And then we're talking about you paying something, you're paying your taxes, all that goes to the IRS. The IRS sends it over to the Treasury. Now the Treasury is paying principal and interest on something that never truly existed. And so now we're working into this debt bubble. You know, people have this great credit. They're grabbing onto anything they can. You know, if you've got a note, a car note, a house note, a credit card, you know, a shopping credit line, like whatever it is, this is the ever increasing debt bubble, and it just grows and it grows. So, like we talked about yesterday, the United States government is just a larger scale of your individual household on a larger scale, but it's the same concept. You're accruing debt, so is the US government, and those are their bonds. That's the IOUs, except they get bailed out and you get your lights cut off. Let's just keep it.
So Chris, what does that make you feel like as the car buyer, right? You work for those dollars and then they tax your dollars. And then you're, Alicia, is Chris going to tell us what happens to those dollars, the tax dollars?
So
or are you telling us what's happening?
No, there is truly a huge secret at the end of this that is going to blow your mind. So Chris, I need you to let these people in on a little secret.
So as far as what happens with the money?
Absolutely.
Well, pretty much the money is created out of thin air. The Fed Reserve's pretty much they are members. Well, excuse me, the members of the Fed Reserve pretty much own large banks. So it's pretty much like an underhanded scheme that's going on. I mean, it's a real finesse move. They create money out of nowhere. They're pretty much taking the debt. They're taking the debt and profiting off of us. You know, they taking the debt, you know, and profiting off of us pretty much. That's all that's going on. The money, the feds are creating money. Well, excuse me. The feds are creating paper currency because it's not money, it's currency, it's dollars. And they're pretty much utilizing you know, what I work for and what I want in life. So pretty much I want this car. This car might cost $50,000. You know, they pretty much sell this information to the banks. The banks pretty much do what they choose with this. I have to pay this, you know, and they can pretty much move this money around to not have to pay somebody else or they can sell this pretty much this debt to anybody. And it's a finesse move. I'm sitting here listening to y'all explain and break it down, and I got a couple notes here too, but it's just the fact that it's a real finesse move. Like, only one that's really benefiting off of this is the banks. I mean, the Fed Reserve, but the members of the Fed Reserve are members of the large banks. So it's like,
absolutely,
the only one that's benefiting, even in the stimulus, is the only one that's really benefiting is the banks. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yep. Chris, you know how like when you're playing basketball or something and you kind of like alley-oop it to yourself, like you hit it off the backboard and you get it back and you dunk it in, like that's kind of like what is happening in the banking system. Or like when you take that ball and you just kind of go around your body, like the same ball is just passing from the same body, just different hands. It's like, it's the same thing. They're keeping it within themselves. They're creating the dollars, they're pushing it out to the people, they're getting interest, they're getting principal off of an IOU, so literally off of a piece of paper, and they're selling the debt back to themselves, right? They're making a profit off of everything because they're owners of the Federal Reserve. They're getting a 6% profit as members of the Fed, and getting profit off of the interest that's being paid out. So yeah, they're like dishing it to themselves. Like I don't know, it's like wall ball where you just hit it against the wall and then you hit it back to yourself. Like they're playing with themselves. You know, they're playing us, but the game is they're the ones playing the game. They're the ones playing the entire game.
Yeah, they playing the game that we paying for.
Right, but we have to understand it. We have to understand it. We have to take ownership at some point when this information can be found. We Google everything else. Why don't we Google, you know, money, dollars, creation of currency? Like, so yes, Tashin, I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. you know, Chris just said something. Both of y'all just got me hyped because we should know about the money. We go to work every day and we don't know about the money, right? So it should be we should learn about the money because we are exchanging our time.
This is crazy. Like this blew my mind, honestly. Like I never knew this information ever in my life.
No,
like
I'm telling you, I could not go back to work after that. Like literally, I went to work and had an anxiety attack after I saw that. It was kind of, but I forced myself to watch it a couple of times to make sure I understood like what was really happening. But yeah, we're slaves. We're slaves to the system. Go ahead, Alicia.
And I don't think people, I don't expect people to understand this on the first go around. I don't even expect you to understand this if you watch this 3 or 4 times. You know what I mean? Like, because this is something that one, you were never taught. It's something that has always been in existence since probably everybody who can view this is alive to view. So this has been happening since 1913, right? Before my grandmother was born. And so we don't expect you to understand it. We don't expect it to make sense. This is not conspiracy. This is real life. This stuff is published in you know,
public record.
It's public record. FederalReserve.gov. Like, go look this stuff up. Look it up for yourself. You know, we're just the information brokers here. We're just trying to give you some information that you can digest easier, because the way that we regurgitate it, we try to break it down as much as possible. But do the research for yourself, definitely.
Awesome. So we are coming up here to the close of the show, but a couple things just out of the information that we got from Alicia and Chris in regards to the Federal Reserve. So another thing, Alicia, too, I think people don't know is that the reason that they get paid the 6% is because they are actually listed on Dun and is it Bradstreet? Dun and Bradstreet. Yes.
Crazy.
So is, check this out though. So is WHO, World Health Organization. So is the CDC.
Yeah.
Which is your Center for Disease Control. Like all of these things are businesses. And that's what we have to keep in mind. If we understand that you as a business owner, even for yourself, your goal is to make profit, right? So, you know, to the point of Alicia and Chris, it's our responsibility. Like we have, you know, whether we knew or not, it is our responsibility to take the information and to respond to it. Right. You don't have to go off what we're saying. Do your own research. But the truth requires a response. So we all have to move. We all have to move when we get new information. That's my 2 cents. I am going to suggest to you guys also that if you are looking for a better way, we talk about we are real people with a real struggles on a real journey to financial freedom, and we have found a solution. So you can connect with us. You can connect with us on, I am on Facebook specifically. I don't really do Instagram or anything, but Tasheen Poole, Alicia Minto, or Marshall, and Chris Cade, you can find us all on Facebook. Of course, if they have other handles, they can share that with you, but we have a solution. You can connect with the money system that takes us out of that. Remember, at the beginning, I suggested that this is chosen, right? We don't have to be in the banking system that we're in because obviously we're being robbed. We have a better system. So with that, those are my closing remarks. Alicia, I'm going to turn it over to you if you have anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of Tasheen, there is definitely a better way. We are all connected to a phenomenal, proven money system. And it is a system. It is not an MLM. It is not a direct sales. There's no auto ship. This is a free account, just like your Facebook, your YouTube, your Gmail. And it just allows you to take these depreciating dollars. We know that this $7, doesn't take care of what it used to before, but you can take these $7 and you can acquire yourself some real money, some lawful money, commodity, get into the commodity system, and let this grow. This won't be $7 tomorrow or next year or next month, but you can exchange it for this, and this $7 worth of 24 karat 999.9 bullion gold will definitely be worth more than $7 US tomorrow.
Can I ask you how much was that note last year?
So when I got involved in the money system and I exchanged my first, this is 1/10 gram of gold, it was 443 euro, which is probably a little under $5 US. So I believe today it's about 6 and some change euro.
619 euro.
619 euro. So
that sounds like increase.
Definitely.
Yeah. But this did not increase.
Looks kind of washed out too.
It's a simple system. It's a simple system, but this is the most complicated part for most people to get through. And you've got to be able to shift this so that you can keep this in a better way.
Oh, couldn't have said it better.
And if you want big baller, you can go to full gram and start stacking your grams the right way. So it's all you can go little, you can go big, whatever you choose. Like, this is for everybody. There's no more excuses not to be able to hold on to your money.
Right.
All right, back to you,
Chris. Sir, I don't listen. You dropped the mic right there, Chris. You want to close us out, sir? You got something you want to add?
I appreciate that information that you just gave, because I'm gonna share this thing till my fingers hurt. I just want to say, closing, just this information that you received, please do some research on it. We're gonna start putting links and in our descriptions or on our comments, so y'all have an opportunity to research it without any misinformation or mislinks. You can get direct to what we're talking about. But we would say research your information, please. If you have any questions, get back to us. You know who we are. You know where to find us. We are the Real Money Entourage. Love yourself, love your family, and spread this information out as far as you can, because it's open, it's public, and it's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Anybody got the right mindset to shift, and really consider the information. You have to be open to accept this information. You know what I mean? But with that being said, love is love. I'm out, man.